Okay, I made a video and I want you to know that the cases of COVID is rising. The cases of COVID is getting worse and worse and worse, and I don't know why they're not talking about it. The news should be talking about it. They should be saying more and more about what's going on. They're really casual about it, and they're not really coming out with the numbers of how many people are dying, except that I know I saw yesterday evening in Los Angeles that Eric Garcetti, basically he said the hospitals were filling up and that they had 113 ICU beds available in a population of 10 million. And I just heard that they're even having a shortage of coins. Um, they were trying to ration the coins that I believe that money, currency is starting to be a problem. And so it is getting really bad, you guys. I don't think that they're really saying what's going on. We got all kinds of downplay and mixed messages about this virus in the beginning, and they hadn't been honest or forthright. They were really smoothing things over. They reopened things too soon, and I think this really should be a state of an emergency, that people should really know that they need to really be careful where they go. They're just being cautious and to say what they're saying because they don't want to create a mass hysteria. But you guys need to listen. I've been trying to put out this video since yesterday, and it has gotten real, as they say. The shit is getting real. And so it has gotten real. And so I don't know if this video is going to actually be posted or not, but I'm trying to get this out as much as possible. But this right here is bad. In multiple states, the hospitals are filling up. The hospital beds are filling up. I saw what looked like a warehouse for a group of homeless people, newly homeless people. Evictions are going to happen. They're going to lift those moratoriums. There's going to be a widespread population of homeless people. And Skid Row is exploded, put it that way, in LA. They're not telling you a lot of what's going on. They're just kind of like middling, like just smoothing things over. And then people are still trying to get whatever little normalcy out of life that they can. And, they're trying to go through this phase of denial of what's going on, but this is going to really just hit a lot of people to the point to where you're going to have to really hunker down in whatever you live in. If you live in an RV, if you live in an apartment, if you live in a house, you're going to have to pretty much just really be looking at the news. It's going to be back to the way it was, but actually more strict because there's so much sickness out there and they have not been telling the truth. They have not been telling the full truth. We've been getting little bits and pieces, and the ones who are trying to tell the truth, they silence them or they make them sit back for a while and don't talk. And so that's what we've been seeing. The doctors have been warning about what was going to happen. And we had a group of people who were very persistent about opening up the economy. We have a lot of greed. We have a lot of people that put money in offshore accounts, a lot of people that lie, and they've been doing that. There's been stealing, killing, and there's been a lot of lying going on for years and years and decades, and you never made right on the people that you've hurt the most. And so you're doing it again, and you're lying, and you know that people are dying, and you should have come out, and you should have said this, and you should have protected the people. Instead of protecting statues, where people are looking at these statues, and they know these statues are symbols of hate. Let's just be honest and call it what it really is. If you want to study about statues and you want to preserve history, put it in a museum then. But don't have it parading around people so that people can see what happened to their ancestors, and it looks like you're parading it in their face, like you're wafting it in their face, like it's a constant reminder of who's on top and who's on the bottom. And so that's wrong. I don't agree with that. And I heard somebody on the news talking about, well, we need to preserve history. Well, guess what? If you want to preserve history, then you put it in a museum and then you study about it like that. But you don't put it out on display so all that can see what the damage has caused. You have never made right, never made good, and that's why a lot of this is happening. And the very people that hurt the most are the poor people, the people who are marginalized. You know who I'm talking about. Black and Latino people and people who are poor, old people, kids, and stuff like that who are helpless and vulnerable in these communities. And a lot of times they always parade these people that are from the same background, that either grew up in these communities, they moved out, they got lucky, got a little money in their pocket, and they're far removed from these communities, and you make them the centerpiece or the mouthpiece for the whole community as if they know what they're talking about. They've done more harm to these communities than good. They're not representative of these communities when they're trying to downplay what has happened in these communities. That is not fair. And so you should be saying more about this. You should be doing more. You should have done more to protect the American people. There are a lot of people dying right now, and YouTube, you need to post this because this is the truth. It's unfair. It's unreal that this is going on, and they're not saying enough about this. They're going to have to get the National Guard. They're going to have to get more people, more government assistance out here that's actually going to do their job and not lie and cheat the American people and actually protect the American people. There are people that have fought for this country, came back and been treated worse as if they were somebody that was opposition of this country, and it's not fair. You know that this has happened. You know that people are sick. You know the hospitals are filling up, and they're going to pretty soon have to be turning people away because they don't have enough room to help everybody. Some of the physicians and the nurses are sick, and they are not going to be able to care for everybody. And so you know this is a disaster. This is an American disaster in the making. And so this video, I hope this video gets posted because this is not fair. And you got a lot of greedy corporations, a lot of rich people. You got a few people at the top, and you've got all these people who are just struggling to make it. You need us more than we need you. You need us. You know you have this money. You see all this stuff going on, all these people protesting about the same things they protested like many years ago about wages, about jobs, about being treated fair, and you let this stuff go on and on and on, and then what do you see the next couple of decades? The same protests, the same issues, the same trouble going on with the same people, the same government, with the same type of issues. And you just let it go on and on and on and fester. And now we have this pandemic, which you knew it was coming because you have more people in the population. But now you have more poverty to go along with it. And so you downplaying this virus, shame on you who are doing this. It's wrong. So I'm not going to back down on my words. I'm not going to change my wording of what I'm saying. If you want to delete this video, shame on you, because you shouldn't, because this is the truth. It is the honest, blatant truth. And it's wrong to let people die, to not tell them the truth, and you know what's happening. You know what's out there. You know that people are sick and are exposing themselves to this. You knew the signs. You knew what was coming. You're all concerned only about yourself, hunkering in a bunker, putting your money in an offshore account, hiding in some vacation home, moving out and moving into enclaves where you can protect one another with your rifles that you point at people that are protesting peacefully. You know who you are, you people who do this. And so it's wrong for you to do this. This is not fair at all. And so what goes around usually ends up coming back around. And in sickness, you have this many people sick, eventually it will come back. It's not going to go away until you fix the wrongs that you've created in this country, and how you have not given Black people reparations, how you have not reversed the student loan debt, people trying to get educated. You see more people are getting educated from marginalized backgrounds, so now you create this debt that they incur. You knew that this stuff was wrong to the beginning and to the end. And so until you fix the wrongs that you've created, and little bits and pieces here and there, throwing a bone or a crust of bread at masses of people is not going to fix the problem. Your little government programs that only get people by from month to month, but they're still in poverty, is not fixing the problem. You should have fixed this problem long ago. You knew we were headed this direction. And so this is a state of emergency video right here. And so for them not to post this, shame on you. You need to be telling, mainstream media is not telling the truth of all of what's going on. They're giving bits and pieces. They're just throwing at you bits and pieces of stuff. I'm putting this video out here. There are multiple states that are seeing high numbers of people going to the hospital, and it's going to get worse. I saw a photo, and I don't know where that photo went. They hurried up and took it off, but it had a warehouse showing that they were preparing for people to be there. It looked like a Fema camp. And it was for people who lost their homes, or they lost it, just like the Hurricane Katrina. You remember that, where people were in the dome, and when you have a warehouse of people, you don't have enough security and enough people to help those people. And then you have people that get raped, people get robbed, people get mugged, people get killed, because too, they're letting out people of the prisons because of the COVID. They said they were going to let out 8,000 more inmates. Some of those inmates, let me warn you, some of them are low level, but some of them are not. And so when you mix all of those people, and then you have general populations of people who are just in poverty, and they're hurting, and they need shelter, that's a recipe for disaster. Hear this video, please, people, take it serious. There is something going on, and they need to be talking more about this, and they're not. And I already heard them saying that they're having a problem with having enough coins to go into some of the stores and stuff like that. This is serious, and they're not talking about it, and it's something, I feel it in my heart that they're not telling people everything that's happening, and it's getting worse. It's getting worse by the hours, by the days. Please, people, heed the warning. Do not go out there thinking that everything is just normal. Prepare yourselves for what is going to come, because in the next couple of weeks, maybe even less than that, we're going to see something we never seen in history, and it's bad. Thanks for listening.